Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another special edition of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, Powers Taken Not Given, joined by Miss Heather once again. How are you doing, Miss Heather? And are you ready to celebrate our nation's 250th birthday?
Almost. I'm almost ready.
What
I
what
probably
what
need
is
to bake a pie or something beforehand.
maybe enjoy some lobster tail?
Oh, that would be nice. I've
I got
never
a
done
video
that on the
actually.
4th of July before.
I got a hold. Let me see if I can find the video. I wanted to. All right, here we go. Found it right away. Okay, there's this congressman named Troy Nels who is super obnoxious. He's he's obnoxious on purpose. A lot of Congress people or people in politics in general and media have unlocked the Trump secret that being infamous is just as good as being famous. Whoa, Colby says Mr. and Mrs. Whitehead. Welcome.
That's cute.
Thank you, Colby. That's
Hi,
nice thing to
Colby.
say. You're her favorite
Number
listener now.
one fan now.
All right.
Like,
So,
I'm your number one fan.
okay, so Troy Nels has found out that infamy is better than obscurity, and he's one of those guys that wore the AR-15 pins whenever a mass shooting took place. He's always walking around holding a cigar and chomping on a cigar like an 1890s political boss or something like a gangster. But someone at Midas Touch. Midas Touch Network does some really good work. I don't know if you're familiar with Midas Touch, but they're a liberal news outlet. And
Oh,
Coach D, right? I think you know Coach D. He's the content creator everyone says looks like me, or I look like him. I guess
oh,
something
you
like
showed
that.
me
And
him before, but I don't
yeah,
remember.
Coach D and Tennessee Brando, friends of the show. They both work for Midas Touch. Anyway, someone interviewed Troy Nels and they asked him about the affordability crisis that's taking place in the United States. People can't afford gas, they can't afford food, at prices for everything's going up. And here's his response. And let's see what old Troy Nels has to say about the affordability crisis in the United States.
Real quick, how do House Republicans make the case that you're fighting for affordability when you go back to your districts?
Affordability? What are you talking about?
Well, affordability is the
I'm
big.
going to go there tomorrow. over 4th. I'm going to get me a couple big lobster tails. I'm going to get me some nice ribeyes. I'm going to sit in my backyard with my family, my neighbors, and we're going to be enjoying the 4th, celebrating 250 years, the birthday. We're going to be celebrating the greatest president in my lifetime, Donald J. Trump. Maybe watch some fireworks. Won't be up here. It'll be too hot, right? And I'm in bed at 11 o'clock. I heard the fireworks.
All right, that's enough from Troy Nels there. But Heather, you're an
Fireworks?
I don't know what's up with that. What are you juggling there, buddy? But you're an everyday American. Well, what do you think about hearing this guy being asked a very pointed question of what do you think about the affordability crisis in the United States? And his answer is, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna go home and eat lobster tail and ribeye with my family. Well, what are you talking about with affordability? That guy seems to have his fingers on the pulse, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sounds like everyone I've spoken to recently. They all are saying the same thing about how much they're looking forward to eating lobster tails for the 4th of July because everything is so fucking affordable right now.
I know. Although I do like it when people embrace their evil. I do like that. I do like it where he's like, "Yeah, I'm a piece of shit person. I got mine." This is actually, I did this a lot during the Biden administration because when gas prices were up under Joe Biden and Republicans would complain about it, I would just flip this shit on them. I would do the same thing that they're doing right now in these situations. Like, look, all my bills are paid. I know what you guys are complaining about. This is sounds like a you problem. If you don't have enough money left at the end of the month, sounds like you need to work harder. Seems like you should
Well,
take some
that's a
personal
little bit
responsibility.
different. That, like, I mean, as far as I know, eating lobster, like lobster is considered to be a luxury food, saying, oh,
Yeah.
I am responsible enough to pay all my bills, even when the economy is bad. Like I plan ahead. Because I'm a responsible adult. And so when there are ups and downs, I can
Yeah.
make it. That's a little bit different than saying, what do you mean people are having a hard time paying for things? I don't. I'm gonna have lobster
Yeah.
and ribeye, like for
Yeah,
the 4th
yeah.
of July, which those aren't even customary foods for the holiday. Is he from the United States? We eat hot
No,
dogs
I mean,
and hamburgers. What the fuck? Who
that's
eats
such a good
lobster and
point.
ribeye? Where's he from?
That's such a good
Maybe
point.
that's just the
If-
Ozarks. I don't know.
no. If someone asked me customary 4th of July food, I would say like hot dogs, hamburgers, maybe ribs,
Yeah.
like a barbecue food. I certainly
Yeah.
wouldn't guess
A barbecue
seafood.
food.
Yeah, like a barbecue food. Yeah, so that's a good point. That's very true. Sean Dillon says hi, and Rachel Hyatt says terrible guy. LOL. I hope Rachel's talking about Troy Nels and not TJ. I hope that's where
Aw,
she's
I'm sure she
where
wouldn't
she's
say
going.
that about you.
Why would anyone dare do something like that? But all right, so we got a few topics we're going to discuss today. We're going to go over women's suffrage, something we thought we had covered back in 1920, over 100 years ago. I thought we had an answer to that question.
We're still
Living in
suffering
mo-
now.
Ah, very good, very good. Yeah, you know what, Ben? I'm so glad that you commented this because I was like, Rachel Hyatt, I know that name, but I'm not sure why. And that's right.
Wait, is that
So
a Maranatha
Ben,
name?
no, it's not. Ben
Oh.
is like 19 now, I think. I think he was like 17 when he first started watching the show or whatever. He goes by Ben the Socialist Jew. That's what he goes by on
Oh.
like whatever. Yeah. And so he would comment, and one time he commented under this username, and we're like, Ben, why are you under someone named Rachel Hyatt? He goes, oh, it's my mom. I'm 16. I was like, oh, okay, all right, well, all right, good to have you here,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah.
I wasn't.
So
I didn't. I just noticed on the last show, it seemed like most all the commenters were males. So I was excited there was a Rachel because
we
it
have
sounded
a
like it was
oh,
a female. And
there
it's
are
still
a few.
just another male.
So that's another male.
Wow.
Look, it is very difficult to get female listenership on political videos. Like the ladies ain't too. All the work we put into it, and the ladies aren't too into it.
This
It's a
is
very
why
male
women don't deserve to vote.
They don't deserve. They don't appreciate
They
shit.
don't watch
Everything
political
that we-
shows.
I
What do
try
they
though.
even know?
I try my best, and I mean, there's a decent amount. There's a few. Claire is one who comments a lot. Well, you are one who comments a lot.
Mhm.
Claire and you are the only two I can think of right now. I'm sure there's more. There's another one who's like an
Where are
anarchist.
you, Claire?
Yeah, where is Claire? Where is Claire when we need her? But anyway, so we'll go over women's suffrage. Living in modern times is consistently having to answer questions that I thought we had answered a long time ago. Sexism, racism, women's suffrage, immigration, just stuff that battles
Abortion
we've
rights.
already fought, abortion that we've already fought and won, and just revisiting them. Just the other day, I don't know if you saw this, but birthright citizenship went to the Supreme Court. Did you see that 2 days ago? Yeah. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, the Constitution says what it says. Well, at least 6 justices said it. 3 said no. Clarence Thomas was one of them, of course. 3 said, no, actually, I don't think so. I think the Constitution doesn't say what it says. Now, listen, if you want to have an actual conversation about birthright citizenship, it's not an illegitimate question. I don't think it's an illegitimate question. I don't, because birthright citizenship isn't just something that everybody has. Like most countries in the Western Hemisphere have it, but I think most countries in Europe don't have it. Most Asian countries don't have it. Most African countries. It's kind of a Western Hemisphere type thing, mainly because those countries were built to what they are over the last 200 years or so, primarily from immigration. They're like, oh yeah, we want to attract people here. So you come here, you're born, you're a citizen. We kind of like exploded that way. If you want to have a philosophical argument on it, fine. I still think you should land on you're born here, you're part of us. But trying to say the Constitution doesn't explicitly state that if you're born here, you're a citizen is just kind of nonsense. It's bullshit. It's a lot like how the Constitution applies to you, whether you're a citizen or not. Like if you're a citizen or not, you still get all the Constitution protections unless otherwise specified. The Constitution was written to apply to all persons within the United States. Now, the founders could have said all citizens. They could have said that. They didn't. They said all persons. Yeah, you can't just. Which is why which is why the due process is afforded to people who are arrested under charges of illegal immigration. They get due process too. It doesn't matter who you are. And they try to get upset about that, saying the Constitution shouldn't apply to foreigners or illegals. All right, then your problem is not with me. Your problem is with the Constitution, because that's what it says. So we'll go over that, and we'll go over a couple of films too. Obsession, which I hope Kyle is here. Kyle was wondering why we thought Obsession was so good. I don't know if we have an answer for him, like if you either like something or you don't, but you should like Obsession. I think that that's the movie that you definitely should like. So,
I have answers for Kyle. It was a great movie.
All right, we'll get to that. All right, so question for you, Heather, since you're a little more familiar with this than everybody else. Kyle is here. Hi, guys. All right, so
hi, Kyle.
So, all right, Heather, I don't know if you saw. He said, "I hopped on just in time." You did, Kyle. It's like his ears were itching, like his ears were burning. You heard someone talking about it, and then he hopped on or whatever. Okay, so you heard the news. Oh, I think you told it to me that Bill Gothard had died. Could you tell people who Bill Gothard was and what his influence is on you and on the Christian community in general in the United States?
Yes, I can.
Let's go.
So Bill Gothard was an American evangelist. And he was, I think, in his 70s. So I think he was born in the 40s or 50s in the United States. And he founded a parachurch organization that originally, I think, was called
Wait, pause. I'm sorry. He's still alive.
Okay, is he?
Yeah, he's still alive. Yeah, he's not dead.
I was not sure from the Facebook posts I saw, because some of the people were commenting like he is still alive, but they're just like brokenhearted because he's barely there. Some of them made it sound like he had already died.
He's in a coma right now from kidney failure. He had a heart attack June 24th, and he's still in a coma as of today. He's 91.
Wow. Oh, 91.
He's 91.
I thought he was younger than that. Wow.
Well, I guess it's too early for the obituary, but what, a pre-bituary?
So,
is that what we're gonna do?
He was the pre-obituary. So he was born when then?
No, that would have been
like
what,
the 30s?
30s? Yeah, the 30s. So let's see, when's his birthday?
Wow. I always think that's interesting to notice the decade someone was born.
1934.
34. Okay, so yeah, he's about the same age as my grandma. But yeah, so he was working with youth organizations, I think, from what I remember. And the first one he founded, I think, was called something like the Institute in Basic Youth Conflicts. And the things he learned while working with those kids kind of morphed into the Institute in Basic Life Principles, which is the organization he's best known for, I think. It was his largest organization. And he would go around doing these seminars. I think before I was born was when they were at their peak. It would be like the 70s or 80s or something like that. And he filled stadiums. Like huge, like thousands of people would come watch these seminars that he would do. And his most famous, biggest one was called the Basic Seminar. And can you hear me okay still?
Yeah, why?
Okay. I had an echo and suddenly it went away.
Yeah, well, so
Now the echo's back.
Kyle wrote, Miss Heather has an echo, and I don't know why. I can't figure out why.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't there before. Should
So
I try an earbud?
So I muted my microphone, and for some reason it went away. You're not playing on my speaker, so I don't know why the echo's there, but it's weird.
Well,
Yeah.
do you want to mute yourself, I guess?
Yeah.
That's sad. I don't mean to silence your voice. So anyways, my parents went to the Basic Seminar before I was ever born, and I was raised in the Institute in Basic Life Principles, which is just, it's not like a membership organization. It's just like a set of ideas that you can ascribe to or not. And you call yourself an alum, like you're an alumni of the basic seminar, and then you can go to the advanced seminar if you want to. After that, but less people go to that. So it's a week-long seminar. I think it was 3 hours. I feel like it was like maybe from 5 to 8 or 6 to 9 or something, Monday through Friday. I went several times. I think I completed the basic seminar like 6 times or something when I was a teenager. And I did the advanced seminar several times as well. But of course, I was a teenager a long time ago, so I don't remember all the details. But he had underneath the Institute in Basic Life Principles, or I don't know if underneath would be the right way of saying it, but a smaller organization and more insular, because this is a membership-based organization, is ATI, the Advanced Training Institute. It used to be called ATIA, the Advanced Training Institute of America, which is a homeschool program that the Duggars were in. They kind of made the whole thing famous, which was great for me because I would always just say I was homeschooled or I was raised conservatively, and I'd be like, I don't know how to explain Bill Gothard to people. But once the Duggars were famous, I could be like, you know who the Duggars are? And people would be like, yeah. I'd be like, that. Oh, that's what I was in. And that program meant you every month got wisdom booklets, and I don't know how much you want me to go into this. I could go on for the rest of the hour.
Well, just like who he is. Well, I mean, it's kind of weird because I thought he was dead, and we're going to like encapsulate him, but he's not. I mean, I guess he might as well be. He's 91. He's in a coma. He's probably not coming out. What's going to be the loss to the community with not having Bill Gothard around? How are you going to feel when you find out that Mr. Gothard has assumed room temperature? Like, how are you going to feel about that?
How will I feel? Oh,
yeah. Because we got a comment here from Colby and said, let's hope him and Mitch McConnell go at the same time. Like, when Mitch McConnell goes, listen, when Mitch McConnell dies, I'm not going to feel relieved or happiness. Honestly, it'll be kind of like when you see a war movie and you see Richard III versus Saladin or something. And it's like, you know what? Don't like that guy, but goddamn, I respect him. I respect the fuck out of Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is the greatest senator, like the most effective senator for either party that I've seen in 40 years. I haven't seen anyone who's been as effective as controlling their base and getting shit done. Just openly stated, I am going to do everything I can to obstruct Barack Obama as president, and did. And out of the minority, just like incredible shit that guy got accomplished. So he's the Nancy Pelosi of the Republican Party, like a really effective strategist. And I mean, the world is gonna lose a terrible person, but gain respect, gain. That's how I kind of feel about Mitch McConnell. I don't know if you feel the same about Bill Gothard. He's more personal, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't know that much about Mitch McConnell other than what I've seen in TikToks making fun of him, which those are always really funny. But I guess I have complex feelings about Bill Gothard because I really looked at him with the awe that a person would have towards a prophet. Like a living, like a man sent from God to show the way. Like I remember I met him when I was a teenager at a seminar I was at in Indianapolis. And I remember a girl who was in my team after said to me, she's like, wow, your face, like the way you were acting, it was like you were so happy to meet him. It's almost like you were meeting God or something like that. And I was like, yeah, it almost feels like that. Like it's a representative of God. And so I felt that he had changed my life. I felt he was going to transform my family because families who I saw in ATI were amazing and perfect. And the young people I saw just like he always would talk about having a bright countenance, and they did. They all had like a bright countenance, and I was like, oh, I want to be like that, because my family was in IBLP, but we didn't homeschool with ATI. We homeschooled just with like normal homeschool stuff.
Yeah.
So Christian fundamentalist, but ATI is a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I saw families who were in ATI when I was a teenager, I'm like, why are we not in this? We've got to do this. Like his seminars are amazing. Like we've got to get into this. And so we got into it. And when I met him, I was just like, this man is transforming me, my family, and the world. He's going to transform the country and the world. Like he got character training into public schools, which I think is still going. I don't know for sure if he's the one who really started that or if somebody else is trying to do it at the same time. But like I used to do concerts in public schools to promote my studio, and they would be like, oh, our character quality this month is courage or whatever. So if you want to like tie that into your presentation, and I'm like, you're doing character training. He started that. Like I remember in the 90s, he would send ATI youth. I wanted to do it so bad into these public schools to teach because character training was his big thing. He had all these character sketches.
Yeah.
That's what we'd have our family devotions out of. There was like the bear story and the character quality. I forget what the one word for the character quality was, but it's like you're supposed to learn to obey your parents' unspoken wishes because the cubs didn't do what they knew their mother bear would have wanted them to do, and then the hunter caught them or something like that. So his material was really compelling and really gave you the feeling that he had uncovered things that everyone else had missed for the last 2,000 years. Nobody else noticed that this is what the Bible was trying to say. And he found it out. And now all you have to do is fast and pray for 40 days once a year, and you will know what God wants you to do. And if you go out in the woods, that was one of his things. Fasting and praying was such a big thing with him. And another thing was crying out to the Lord. Go out into the woods and like literally like groan and cry out loud. You have to go out in the woods because otherwise people will think you're crazy. But yeah, and just he had all these like magical little like put the coin in the gumball machine and get the gumball out, except God is the gumball machine. It's like he had all these magical things you could do to really get the Lord to notice you. And the only problem was like, well, okay, in my opinion, God's not real. And so
huge flaw in this program.
Yeah, bug in the system. And so like no matter how hard you try, no matter how long you go without eating, at some point you're going to discover God is not talking to me. And if you still believe in God and you're being honest with yourself and you're like, why is God not talking to me? He's talking to everyone else in this room. They all have a word from the Lord. And I'm trying to have one too. I'm doing all the same things they're doing, but I'm not hearing his voice. So that was really disillusioning for me as a Christian young person still.
Yeah.
Now,
there's the comment.
I've like, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying the thing that's complex is that like huge amount of buy-in I had as a young person, and then the disillusionment, and now like I've left my faith altogether, and I just look back at that and I'm like, what a charlatan. And then I don't know if you heard about the Recovering Grace website, that him and his brother both were accused of all kinds of sexual misconduct towards the young women in his organization.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, surprise. Anyways, and he was never married, never had kids, giving all this.
He was never married?
No.
How did he get away with that?
It's
that's the
kind of
most
like,
surprising
how
thing I've
does
heard.
Trump get away with it? How does Trump get away
Well,
with being
I guess.
a
I
man who's
guess.
leading the nation after he's had
Well,
3 wives and
yeah, but Trump was never like a religious guy. This guy, I mean, like, listen, if you're not married after a certain period of time in these circles, they look at you suspiciously. Like, what's going on, man? What's the problem? Like, if you're a woman who's not married,
outside.
you're hmm?
People outside the organization did. Like, I remember, my relatives who were also independent fundamental Baptists, like my family was, which almost everybody in IVLP was independent
Yeah.
fundamental Baptist, or maybe they didn't want to use that label, but that's what their church had originally been, and they took the label off. They were afraid we were in a cult, so that should really tell you something.
Yeah. Because like
my aunt and uncle, I remember them and
Yeah.
my grandma talking about us, and I'm in the other room supposed to be asleep, and I remember them talking about how we were in a cult now and stuff.
that is of everything you mentioned. I didn't know a lot of that, but of everything you said, that blows me away that he wasn't married. Because, like in these circles, if you're a woman who's not married, like let's say Bill Gothard, but 40 years ago when he was 50, they was like, oh, it's a woman that's not married. That's so sad. Isn't that unfortunate? They look down on you, but they pity you. They're like, oh, that's too bad you didn't find a man. You're a 50-year-old guy and you never got married. They're like, what's up with that? How come you can just do this? How come you haven't chosen someone to get married with? That is, what are you up to, man? That is, and that kind of, it's lesser extent now in society, but certainly definitely in the last 30, 40
Are
years.
you
I'm
gay?
amazed. Are you gay?
feel like
Yeah. Are you gay? Yeah. It's like, it's so strange, but wow, can't believe you got away with that in these circles. And Leon Barfield commented here, it's almost like Christianity is shared schizophrenia. It's also shared false schizophrenia because, like Heather said, when you, we're not the only Christians to run into this wall. It's like, okay, is someone actually talking to me, or am I kind of just doing this myself? And everybody else is saying, it's like, well, I'm not going to be the one that says, I don't think anyone's hearing me right now, but no one else wants to say it either. And some comments here where we're going. Kyle said, "Are we talking about the Christian right or about obsession?" We will get to obsession, Kyle. I swear we're gonna get this too. And Ben commented when you said that he was the age of your grandma. Ben said, "I thought grandma too." Ben, you're way too young for your grandma to be 91. There's no chance. Like, I'd be shocked if Ben was 23. There's no way he's like 23 years old. But Days Music says, "What's up with your eyes?" I don't know if he's talking to me or you. But either way, they're great eyes, right? They're awesome. These are and Cold 338 says the caption of the video is "Should women be allowed to vote?" And Cold 338 says absolutely not. Women should not be voting. I
think the
agree
real
with
question
you.
is, should men be allowed to vote?
Okay, hold on now. Let's get carried away. All right. No,
Seem to be going terribly wrong since men have been allowed to vote.
I think that Cold is onto something. I don't think conservative women should be allowed to vote. I think they should practice what they preach and not actually vote. That's where I go with this. And Ben says my mom had me when was in Hue. Is that like a city in Vietnam or something? Let's see. I think he meant to put an age or something like that. But all right, and then we have. Colby says, TJ is so old, he saw Jesus crucified and rise from the tomb. He's used to seeing prophets.
You wouldn't have been impressed by Mr. Gothard then, I guess.
No, okay, all right, yeah. And Ben says, my mom had me when she was in her 40s. Okay, all right.
Oh, good for her.
Then Kyle says, internal hallucinations are real. It's when you experience a thought that doesn't feel like it originates from you. All right, so Bill Gothard has a long, complicated history and apparently still alive. But when he dies, it's going to be a weird moment for a lot of people because he influenced a lot of people's lives, not always for the better. And the people whose lives
almost never for the better.
Not almost never for the better. Well, Charlie Kirk was no Bill Gothard. He was on his way. He was on his way to being a Bill Gothard type figure, and his death certainly reverberated more. Charlie Kirk was only like 33 or 34 or something when he died. He was super young.
I feel like he was way more famous
than Bill Gothard.
Don't you think? I feel like Bill Gothard.
I guess you're right. But I mean, Charlie Kirk was Oh, I think it will. That's how I heard about it in the news. I mean,
Bill
that
Gothard?
Bill
Oh,
Gothard
really?
was sick. Yeah, yeah. So,
What would I know? I
but
don't listen to the
Bill
news.
Gothard, like Charlie Kirk was more famous, and he was like a political, cultural guy. But I guess I was talking about it from like a religious standpoint. That Bill Gothard, I mean, I wasn't part of that movement, but I knew Bill Gothard, like people in our circle. So yeah,
Oh, you
on,
did.
on the macro, yeah, he's bigger. But all right, so one thing that you'll find with a lot of consistency with a lot of these folks with the religious right is their disdain for women and women's ideas and their thoughts and their agency specifically. And this clip is something that's been going around a lot over the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to get into a little bit. It's, I forget, CBS, I think, doing an expose on some women at Turning Point USA and their thoughts on women and women's right to vote. And let's see what they got to say about this. I'm sure we'll agree with everything.
I'm going to start this off really strong. I don't think women should vote anyways. If somebody asked me, if the government was like, okay, if we could have a more conservative country, if all women gave up their vote, I would gladly give up my right to vote to have a more conservative country.
There's a lot of churches that talk about it.
Stone argues that women voters are too liberal, so the U.S. should shift to a one vote per household system.
Now, is that a hill I'm going to die on and run for office and try to complete? No, that's not my main message. That's just one of the opinions
Why the
that
hell
I
would you
hold.
run for
I want
office?
to pause. I want to pause right
Bitch.
here and say exactly that. It's like, listen, I would love to see the
You think you can run for
hilarious
office, but you can't vote?
the hilarious irony of a campaign of a woman saying, "I'm running for office to take away women's right to vote," and presumably, logically, consistently, their ability to run for office. I would love to see a woman run on that
Yeah.
campaign just to see. I was like, how do you think this is gonna work here? This doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny too. I wanted to comment on that. All right, let's get her back up here. It's not a hill she's gonna die on, Heather. Like this isn't. I'm glad that it's not a hill she's gonna die on.
Complete?
Voter
No,
relief.
that's not my main message. That's just one of the opinions that I hold because I think that would be better for society.
I actually do agree with her. I would as well give up my vote if it got rid of like things like abortion.
We spoke with several women. Oh,
All right, Heather.
we spoke with
I've said this before that I don't make fun of people for things that they can't help or that aren't their fault. But I want to do it with this
Because I
lady
think
right
that
here.
would be
Hold on.
better for society.
I actually do agree with her. I would as well give.
What kind of name is Kayla? Like, is this supposed to be Kayla? But
Oh.
it's like Kayla. What? I've never seen a name like that in my entire life. I just thought that was kind of odd. I thought that was pretty
Huh.
weird. But
I didn't
yeah.
even notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either when I first watched this, but I'm not trusting anyone named Kayla. Okay, let's go.
Up my vote if it got rid of like things like abortion.
we spoke with several women open to giving up their own right in pursuit of a more Christian conservative America.
My perspective as a Christian woman is that my husband and I are one flesh. I vote the same way he does, so honestly, I'd be okay with giving up my right to vote because I know that he would represent me well.
If my husband's the head of the household, I am neck, and we work very cohesively together. So I would imagine if he was voting on behalf of our household, I would be fine with that.
Do you think your daughter should have the right to vote?
I'd be okay if she didn't, because I also know she's going to marry a biblical man, that they would also be in line.
Bitch, what if she doesn't? What if this is where the logic on this falls apart, right? If we want to get rid of women's right to vote because we're gonna try to have a more conservative nation. Well, what about your daughter? Shouldn't she get the right to vote? Oh no, she'll marry a good Christian conservative. Well, what if she doesn't? Should she not? Should he not be able to vote? Because just say what you want to say. You don't
Only
want liberals
married
voting.
women deserve the right to be represented in their government, I guess.
It's
If you're unmarried, then too bad for you.
Too
Pay your
bad, too bad.
taxes, But I don't want to be
But the
taxed
vast
without
majority of
representation.
women here say this remains a conversation for the fringe.
I think the best thing that we can do is hold conferences like this to educate liberal women and hopefully sway them to the conservative side.
All right. I can't get enough of the comedy of that right there, of conservatives saying we need to educate the liberals. I check every metric you can find. Okay, like going back as long as you want to go, there is a direct relationship between the amount of education you have and how liberal your politics are. Like there are outliers, but as a standard rule, the more conservative you are, the less educated you are. And this is my favorite thing to point out about this. The even amongst conservatives, like take liberals and leftists out of it, just people who identify as conservative, the more educated conservatives, less conservative than the less educated ones. Like the conservatives who actually went to grad school and everything, they don't believe the same nonsense and bullshit that the conservatives who dropped out of 8th grade. Like that's just not how this shit works. So yeah, hilarious when they say that, you know, we need to educate liberals more and more. So Miss Heather, your right to vote, how do you feel about it? Do you cherish it? Do you want to get rid of it? You want to leave it to me? You want to leave it to
I would like to keep my right to vote. You know, I've not studied it a ton, but I've heard some information about the suffrage movement in the early 1900s and the things women went through to get the vote. Like they were sexually assaulted, they were beaten, they were ridiculed. Not just in our country either. And to think that now, like that was our great grandparents or great great grandparents generation, probably most of the women who are alive right now who could vote. And we're just going to throw that away in a country where, like I just was saying, I kind of was joking, but not really. Like, if you're not married and you're a woman, you are working to support yourself, I'm assuming. And so you're paying taxes. And this is the party that's like, no taxation without representation. We love the Tea Party, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I'm not okay with being taxed and not being represented and not having a voice in my government. It doesn't make any sense. Are we human beings or aren't we?
That's something that I find super annoying. Whenever people say that, oh, voting doesn't matter, you know, if voting actually made a difference, then the government wouldn't let you do it. You've heard people say stuff like that nonsense. It's like, man, you know what people fucking went through just to get the right to vote? Like how many people suffered and literally died just so you could have the right to vote, only for you to like just look down on it years later saying, this shit doesn't matter. I don't know what you guys are getting all up in arms about. I tried to pull up right now, like, if you guys want to do something interesting sometime, check out anti-suffragette comics from back in like the early 1900s, whatever. In fact, let me see if I can pull one up right here of what people were passing out. Let's see, what is this one from? This one's from the, I don't know, probably early 1900s, something like that. But this is a little image that was being shared. Let's see, women's, okay, here we go. Right here. So this is an image of a man in an apron. Can you imagine? And the top left corner says, everyone works but mother. She's a suffragette. And you have a man washing clothes in a bin there. He's got an apron on. The baby's down there with a cat. And the bottom it says, I want to vote, but my wife won't let me. This was the propaganda people were using for suffragettes, saying that the suffragettes, not only, it's kind of the same thing people do now. It's like when you try to get rights for one group of people, they think you're taking rights away from another. So men are saying, if women get the right to vote, then I guess I won't have the right to vote. Absolutely. What were you looking at? I'm trying to.
Oh, I was trying to read the blue sign.
The blue sign says everybody works but mother, she's a suffragette. So, yeah. So, yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to find all over the place when you're talking about women's right to vote. And I also wanted to comment on the last woman who talked there, and the narrator stated, other women at the conference said that these conversations about women not voting and repealing the 19th Amendment, this is to the fringe of our group. This isn't common amongst our group. And look, I'm willing to take them at their word. Heather and I growing up, we heard, I guarantee Heather heard this. I heard this too. I heard from more than a few people saying, yeah, I don't think women should have the right to vote. I wouldn't say that was the normal view. That was a view like maybe I heard from.
Then.
It was the fringe. Yeah, it was the fringe. I believe that. However, the percentage of that fringe is higher amongst conservative right than any other group in the nation. You will
Oh,
never
yeah.
walk into, yeah, you will. So they can say it's fringe and it could be true, but it is the largest subsection of the population that has a group who thinks like that. Kind of like they have with like, flat earthers or creationists or stuff like that. This is just how the thing goes. But this is a consequence of the growing influence of the Christian right. I couldn't have imagined 10 years ago having a legitimate. I was trying to find the video on my YouTube channel. Power's taken, I give it on my YouTube channel, but I have a whole video where I have like 6 or 8 conservative women influencers saying that, yeah, I think the 19th Amendment should be repealed. Not men. You can find plenty of men saying that, but Matt Walsh put out some. This isn't on women voting, but he said that the worst justices of the Supreme Court have all been women. He put up a picture of Ketanji Brown Jackson, Alana Kagan, Sotomayor, and Amy Coney Barrett, a Republican. He put up because they all voted against birthright or for birthright citizenship. And he put up their picture, not John Roberts. He didn't put his picture there, but he said these 4 women are the worst justices ever been in the Supreme Court. We really need to talk about this. So yeah, it's a growing problem, and I think that we treated the Christian right like a fringe for far too long, and that the sooner we confront them, the better on this. All right, comments here. Sorry, Kyle says, I agree with TJ. Women who don't believe they should vote shouldn't vote.
Yeah.
In her defense,
Go for
yeah,
it.
practice what you preach, right? Yeah, I'm all with you there. In her defense, women were elected to public office before women were legally allowed to vote. That's true. That did happen.
Really?
And,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that did happen. Yep, that happened
Huh.
a few times. And Jeanette Rankin was the first woman elected to federal office in the United States, winning a seat in the House of Representatives from Montana in 1916. The 19th Amendment was ratified in 1920. However, the 19th Amendment guaranteed women's right to vote in however many states we had in 1920. But a lot of states had already granted women the right to vote. So there was no federal guarantee for that right, but a lot of states had already done it by the time. So I'm not sure. So I'm sure that played a part in it too. Colby says, Soldier Boy nailed it when he said banning abortion would be a big problem for him. Yeah.
I wonder if the law said anything about holding public office for women.
I mean,
Because did the law say women aren't allowed to vote? Sorry, that's kind of a little off topic, I guess, because that's from the past, not from
So it's weird. It's weird. The Constitution doesn't explicitly grant citizens the right to vote anywhere. It doesn't. Like I remember.
I was just
when
going to
was
say,
in-
how did they know
Yeah.
women weren't allowed to vote?
Because the states limited. The state said we're only going to allow males of property to vote. That's just what the state said. And eventually, with movements over the years, the Constitution says states cannot be permitted to ban people based on X, Y, or Z. So like you can ban people based on age, right? You have a 14-year-old wants to vote, the state can say no. But the state says anyone over 18 or 21 it used to be, and it says you can't take away someone's right to vote based on age. Now you can't take away based on sex. You can't take away based on skin color. But the Constitution never says that citizens have the right to vote. It's not there. It just says you can't bar someone from voting based on that. Yeah. And so Colby says TJ is withholding his firsthand knowledge of living with a suffragette. Come on, Colby. Jesus. Every time now, every other comment. Okay. No. Once again, don't encourage this guy. Don't encourage this guy. All right. Kyle says, communist countries have mandatory voting. Russia has a higher voter turnout than we do. There are tons of places where people vote and it doesn't matter. And in those places, governments also try hard to stop the votes. Okay, so that's funny. It's not just communist countries. Australia has mandatory voting. Australia is not a communist. There are several non-communist countries where you have to vote. If you don't, they will track you down. Yeah, they will track you down and say, hey, you haven't voted. And if you don't, they fine you. Now, I am not in favor. I think John is. I think John is in favor of mandatory voting. I find that kind of weird. I'm not in favor of mandatory voting. Yeah, it just seems kind of odd to me. But also, it's kind of weird, like Russia. So Russia's not a communist country, but they did have mandatory voting when they were communists. They were. It was a very big deal. Like there was this, like when Stalin was running for office, like people were sick in hospitals, and like government would show up, like, hey, here you go, fill out your voting card. Let's get this guy going here. But they take it very seriously here. Okay. Power is taken, not given, rather fascist. Common ground found on the Supreme Court of the United States opinion. All right, listen, Mel Gilliam here. You know how when people are criticizing people who talk about how evolution is real, and they say, yeah, evolution is obviously real, we have a lot of evidence for it, and they say, oh, so you believe in survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest is your philosophy. And I have to calmly explain to them in very small words, or as slowly as I can, that survival of the fittest is not a prescriptive term. It is a descriptive term, okay? Like, that's just how it fucking is, okay? If you fall into the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, you are not fit to live there. You are going to die very quickly. You drop a whale in there, the whale's going to do better than you. That's just how it is. The more fit you are to survive in your environment, the better your chance of survival are. Power is taken, not given is not a prescriptive term. It is a descriptive term. Like, if someone gives you power, great. That person can take it away. If you take the power, that is also yours to keep, you fucking moron. I don't know how I can keep doing this. This is just Jesus, this is terrible. All right, we're gonna get to obsession because we kind of ran with that a little bit more than I thought it to. Okay.
I know. I'm on Kyle's side with his comment. Before the show started, Kyle, TJ's like, we're going to talk about women's suffrage and we're going to talk about Bill Gothard. I'm like, wait, I thought we were talking about obsession, which is what I was told before the last show. And now here are all these topics I did not even think through beforehand. But
okay.
Kyle,
Okay.
it's
All right,
the trials of working with this man.
Oh, yeah.
We just do the best we can.
Whew, boy. Okay. All right. Let's get going here. Okay. So we got a few minutes left here. Let's get talking on the topic that we want to talk about before. So a few weeks ago, Heather and I decided to go out to the cinema. And we said, we didn't know what we wanted to watch. We just had a night off and find something to do. So we looked up the movies that were playing in the theaters. And we saw the names. We didn't know anything about them. And we looked up a trailer to one movie. I don't even remember the name of the movie. It was some horror film about people who got stranded on the side of the road, and like this ghost was after them. Yeah, and it looked pretty good. We're like, okay, well, we'll check that out. And then I saw a marquee for another movie called Obsession, and we were already pretty convinced that we were going to watch the other movie. That we were already settled. Like, I bought the tickets.
Yeah,
but then
like I read the description of Obsession, and I was like, a relationship movie.
Yeah. And actually, the only reason I pulled up the trailer was because the tagline for Obsession was so good. The tagline was, "Be careful who you wish for." And I said, that's good. I don't know what this movie's about. And we saw the trailer. It said, fuck that other movie. Okay, we're definitely going to go watch Obsession. It might not be good, but they hooked us. And god damn, did it blow us away. Kyle, I'd like to know what you... Oh, actually, here.
Then we went back.
We saw it twice.
We went and saw it a second time.
We saw it the second time. It was that good. All right. So Kyle says, Obsession seemed like it could have been a good movie, but it was so boring to me. I've already seen and read the plot. Don't wish for love because it always goes wrong.
Kyle.
Have you heard there's like I forgot who said this, but there's only like 9 stories. Like I don't know if you heard about that, Heather, that there's only like 9 types of stories. They all follow the same pattern. It's all about execution.
I've heard
because
even less than that sometimes too.
Is it less? I can't remember the numbers. Yeah, but all right. So Heather, what is your bird's eye view take of your review from Obsession? What did you think about it? You said you could tell Kyle like why he should enjoy it, why he's wrong.
Oh. Well, I said the reason he should enjoy it is because it's a great movie, but I thought it was really clever. It seemed like a commentary on codependent tendencies in romantic relationships, and it also seemed like all through the movie you're confronted with these happenings that should be cliche. Like so cliche, so overdone that it's annoying. Like a jump scare in a horror movie. We've all seen that. Like kind of like what he's saying. The love stories always go wrong. But instead of being cliche and dumb, it was like, whoa, that was really well done. And it felt unexpected instead of just like the same old thing that I've seen so many other times in horror movies. Like the female who should have been the villain, I guess, because she was the one who was causing all the problems or whatever. It's like she was the victim. And I think you would call him the protagonist because he was the one who moved the plot forward, was the villain, Bear, I would say. And turns out he's the monster. He's the one, you know what I mean? And it seems like at the beginning, like, oh, this poor guy, like he seems like a really sympathetic character. And a tiny, cute girl in her 20s does not seem like someone you would be afraid of, especially if you're the man and you're like bigger than she is. And even that is kind of a cliche thing because you see little children in horror movies and they're scary, but she was scary in a different way. She was so so loving.
Unsettling is the best word that we found how they portrayed her. Yeah, they made her unsettling. Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed Kyle. Man, Kyle, tough crowd. Kyle said the story wasn't executed well. There was nothing original for me. All right, so guys, listen. You know what?
Hansel and Gretel part, Kyle.
Listen, look. You know what? Some people like vanilla ice cream, and some people don't. You know, it's just like you like it or you don't. So. You can't
Kyle didn't like it.
Kyle didn't like it, which is fine. You know, every one of them in the country can't love Obsession. There's got to be at least somebody who didn't like it. But so I did think it was executed well. And after the movie, I remember talking to Heather about jump scares. I fucking hate jump scares. I hate them. I think they're lazy. I think that I prefer a horror film with no jump scares, or very, very few jump scares. Or my favorite jump scares are the ones where it's a jump scare, but there's no dong sound, where they don't like force a, hey, it's a scary moment happening. But the jump scares in this movie were great. They were great. I found
and
them
they did those sounds.
They did the sound, and which shocked the shit out of me because usually I hate that shit. But the way they pulled it off, like the one I can think of the most is when they're making out in Bear's bed, and she switches back to normal Nikki, and that freaked me out. That was really great. And I love the commentary because you mentioned that the protagonist is the bad guy. And upon second viewing, Bear, then again, it's probably because I knew more just already. To me, it took me like a quarter of the film to be like, okay, Bear is definitely the bad guy here. They really seal it home for you whenever Nikki is asleep, and then the real Nikki gets to talk through Nikki's body, and she's begging for death. And he makes it all about himself. At that moment, it's unforgivable. Like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing, and he's still fucking this up. But watching before that, it's like, okay, this guy's really weaselly and conniving, and it's a great commentary on cowardice and selfishness. I think a lot for Bear because this isn't. I know people say that lefties they love bashing men, that men are terrible and all that. This isn't what I'm going with here, but this is like bashing a particular type of guy who wants to be in a relationship but lacks the courage to initiate one. That's kind of what it is. And look, that's fine. If you're a guy and you want to have a relationship with someone and you don't have the courage to bring up the fact that you're attracted to someone or to make a move, that's fine. Just don't bitch about it, okay? That you can be that person, but you can't just expect people to be attracted to you out of nowhere. That's not usually how this works. So Bear is there, talking to Ian and saying, "Hey, I'm really attracted to Nikki. What should I do? How can you help?" Which good advice. He's practicing on the waitress. I do like that the waitress is sitting there, hearing Bear practice his lines and stuff, and she's saying, "Oh, this is great. This is fantastic." And I remember thinking the second time watching, well, what else is she going to fucking say? I mean, she wants a tip, right? If I'm the waitress too, I'm like, this is weird. I got a job to do, and I'm here listening to you practice your speech on this girl here. I just want to kind of get out of here and get my money. And so, yeah, he's kind of going with that. And then the part of the moments when the second viewing, when I got even angrier than the first time, is when Nikki actually silver platters him an opportunity to tell his feelings. It's like, hey man, do you like me? Because now is the time to say, I've never had that opportunity had that happen where it's like, hey, do you like me? If so, just let me know. I can't believe he didn't take that opportunity. That kind of that's when it sealed to me that at the end it's like, oh, a second time, oh, this bear, he's a fucking coward. He doesn't deserve anything good.
Yeah. Even in that moment though, like that felt really human to me. Cowardly, but like who hasn't backed off when they should have gone for it. Like so he seemed really relatable. But there were a few moments through the film where it's like, oh wait, is this okay that he's doing that? Because like at first he was really respectful. He's like, okay, something is up with you. I'm not gonna lay in the bed with you. I'm not gonna okay, if you need to be with me, you can lay in the bed, I'll lay on the floor. And like it seemed like he was trying really hard not to take advantage at first.
At first.
And then it was like I was watching some commentaries about this as I was preparing for this, and somebody mentioned about how they cut to that scene where they're having sex, and I noticed this when I was watching it because she's just like laying there.
Yeah.
And he's going at it. And afterwards, she's like, that was amazing, baby. And do you remember that scene?
I do. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm like, huh. At that point, I don't know. It seems like he should have known something was not quite right. But like, maybe she was high on drugs beforehand and so she really is okay now. But it's like it felt kind of gray. And then that moment you were talking about though, where the real Nikki's like, Bear, please kill me, and he doesn't kill her, and he says, what's so terrible about being in a relationship with me, and he walks out of the room. Like that's the moment where you're like, oh, you're a rapist. And you're irredeemable at this point. Like this is very bad. There were moments before that where you're like, oh, that's not great. But that moment, it's like, no, there's no gray anymore. You're on the black side of the black and white. That was the moment where everything went to shit. It's like right after that, the first murder happens, and it was so scary.
It was like
and if he had just killed her.
So this is something I thought about. Yeah, killing himself would be the actual brave move right there, because then Nikki would be released. And I don't know if he knew that at the time. I don't know if he made the phone call after she talked to him. But either way, at some point, he knew that if he died, she would be freed. Because I remember thinking, watching it, when Nikki, real Nikki, is talking to him and says, hey, Bear, can you please kill me? I'm trapped in this body. You've got to set me free. I do remember thinking, okay, he can't really do that. Okay, because if he kills her, he's just going to go to prison, right? I mean, no one's going to believe the story he told about the One Wish Willow. But then when he finds out from calling, maybe the funniest scene of the movie, I also want to side note
yeah.
Important, no matter how dark the subject matter is, to get a few laughs. You gotta have some comedy relief. You gotta let some steam out every now and then. You can't just have it being a downer the whole time. Oh, by the way, the director of the film, Curry Barker, I think his name is, he got his start making comedy sketches on YouTube. That's what he did before directing the movie. And he said that his biggest influences are Key and Peele, which kind of makes sense because Peele went on to do horror films. And like, I was like, okay, that's interesting. It's good to know. But anyway, great use of comedy when he calls the hotline for the One Wish Willow monkey paw type thing, and someone actually answers who just seems like someone who's bored at his job, saying, "Oh, is something wrong? Do you want to cancel your wish?"
Really do that.
We don't really do that. It's like, well, okay, you made it seem like you could. I thought that was amazing. But anyway, he says that, well, the wish stays in place until you die or she dies, obviously. But if you're dead, then the moral thing to do would be like, okay, if I can't get anyone to believe me and cancel the wish, I'm sure you could have found someone. You buy 3 dozen One Wish Willows, you're going to get someone to play along with this, right? But whatever, you can't get that, then your death would be the noble sacrifice to free your friend. And it's kind of like a weird, I don't know if it's an actual love triangle or a love square, a love triangle with like the 4 friend groups, the 4 people in the group, because Sarah has the hots for Bear, right? And Bear is ironically oblivious to that. I find that pretty funny that he is so attracted to Nikki that he doesn't even notice that Sarah is attracted to him. I don't know if Nikki has a thing for Ian. I'm not sure at all, or if it was just a hookup thing. It's been happening for years. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't. But there was some sort of sexual activity going on with everyone in the group, just like a big circle, well, a line actually, because Ian, who knows what Ian's up? Ian was just kind of doing his thing, but.
Well, he was having sex with her too. It's not like she was only having sex with him.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, yeah. So it's still, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's still a line though. I guess I don't know. I was trying to make it like a circle, like who,
Yeah, I don't know.
What the term would be for that? I'm not sure what the term would be. What would be for that?
It's messy. Would be a good
Yeah,
word.
it's messy. Yeah. So yeah, they have all that going on, and Bear is his cowardice for not taking responsibility for that wish right there ends up immediately killing Sarah when evil Nikki shows up, and horrifying death scene for poor Sarah, by the way. I mean, Nikki didn't have it coming either, but Sarah wasn't involved in this at all. She's just minding her own business, and gets her head bashed into a brick over and over again, and in a terrible, brutal death scene that she has right there. And then Ian ends up getting shot by possessed Nikki, and then Bear ends up dying as well. The one question I had, I don't know if you had time to think about this, or you said you watched a few reviews on it since then. I've been trying to answer a few questions here. Like we had one with why was she walking backwards? Like one of the creepiest scenes in the movie toward the end when she's talking to him and she starts walking and sounds like talking backwards. I wait for it to come out on video, see if someone can backmask that and find exactly what she was saying. But that was weird. And the other part that thought was really weird that I don't think I ever
still
found
haven't heard anybody explain that, by the way.
Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, I
creepy.
can't wait till it comes out and people will be like really deep diving.
Dissecting it. Can't wait for that. I've also been waiting. This one doesn't require a video review, but why did she feed him the cat? I can't understand that part. I don't know why, like, possessed Nikki would feel the need to pull his cat out of the dumpster and feed it to him. I can't understand it.
That is an interesting question. I thought that too. And the word you're using, possessed Nikki, one of the people I watched, he actually is a Christian who does film reviews from like a Christian perspective, which I know sounds kind of like a turnoff. Yeah. But no, it was pretty interesting actually. It was pretty interesting. But so he's of course like he believes in demon possession. And so he's like, Nikki isn't the one doing that. Somebody who loved you wouldn't do that. It's this demon who has possessed Nikki, and the demon is taunting him and trying to torture him. That's why she dug the cat out of the trash can and made the memorial. That's not something a loving person would do. That's why she fed him the cat. And I'm like, that's not how I took it, though, actually.
No, me neither. Huh? Yeah, me neither.
I took it that it was more like she was taken over by like a child is what it seemed like somebody who's like, oh look, I made this cat memorial for you because your cat died and I thought this would make you feel better. And then she was like, oh no, you didn't like this. It's weird. Oh sorry. And I kind of took the cat sandwich thing the same way. She's like, oh, you love your cat. I bet eating your cat would make you feel even closer to your cat because she ate it too and threw up from it, They both threw up from it. So she apparently didn't think, I don't think she was doing it to taunt him. I think she was just like confused. Like when she's like, is this good? And she did like the huge scary smiley face. And she's like, is this better? It's like she didn't know what was normal when she was freaky Nikki. She didn't know what normal humans would do.
Yeah, she was just told to love and figure out like what that means and what it looks like. Like, oh, I love you, so I'm gonna stand in front of the door for 8 hours and not move and piss myself till you come home. That's what a loving person does, right? It's like, no, actually, no. And also, that's the day that happened. I remember thinking when I kept trying to give Bear, I think we all did. Like, Bear is not presented as a despicable character when you first meet him. He's treated as a sympathetic character. a guy who's down on his luck. A place that we've all been. We've all had crushes on someone and not known what to do. It's a very relatable position. So I kept giving Bear the benefit of the doubt. And I remember when Snap said, buddy, I was just so pissed off at him the first viewing, is when she says, okay, we'll have a good day at work. It's too bad that I'm off today. And he turns around and she's duct taped the door shut. And it's like, that right there, that is when it was over. It would be over that second. The fact that he let it continue 1 minute beyond that point is completely on Bear. We talked about the cat, and Heather does this thing where she shows me up, and I don't appreciate it when she does it, but when she's right, she's right. And especially when she does it, and I feel like, oh, I should have caught that. Right when we finished the movie, we headed outside, and she said, oh, we were talking about Bear's death when, he chickens out. And, I said that Bear was a coward until the end, because when he realized it was all over after Nikki had killed Sarah and she killed Ian, he took out a gun and he was going to shoot himself, and he didn't do it. He couldn't shoot himself. Then he found his grandmother's pills and he took the pills. And after he took the pills, the second he took them, he started to try to vomit them up. He tried to vomit the pills up, but then the spell hit, and then he walked outside and he died from the pills. And I was like, that guy died like a bitch. Like he didn't even have the courage to stick with his own suicide to free Nikki. And then Heather said, yeah. And then of course, he falls on the rug and he lays there vomiting on the rug. Obviously paralleling his cat dying on the rug in the beginning. I was like, oh yeah, I caught that. Yeah, I definitely noticed that he died just like his cat. I did notice that. I did not notice that until you pointed it out.
Huh. I was struck by I thought it was like a Romeo and Juliet parallel at the end, which I haven't heard anybody say, so maybe I'm wrong about that. But the dying, let's see, I always have a hard time remembering exactly the order with Romeo and Juliet. So Juliet pretended to drink poison, and then Romeo discovered her, and he's like, oh no, there's no poison left for me. So then he killed himself with the weapon, and then she takes the weapon and kills herself. Right. So this reminded me of Romeo and Juliet. The ending did, because he poisoned himself, and then she was really upset that he poisoned himself. So she was going to take the weapon and kill herself. And then suddenly she snapped out of it. So she didn't, but I don't know if that was on purpose or not. But because how she said she wanted to write a love story, and he said, the romance and love story being the same thing, and she said she needed to quit the job because she had to experience love to be able to write this love story. And I felt like, how they said, just because you chose this love for her, it doesn't mean the love isn't real. The customer service guy said that to Bear, remember? Mm-hmm. I felt like she did experience a real love story because she wrote the Hansel and Gretel story that she told them. Remember how she read that? And she's like, that's something I've been working on in my writing. And that story was like, whoa. It was.
So you're saying she did experience a love story?
Because they said just because you chose the love for her doesn't mean that it's not real. So she really did love him.
Like, she loved him like in a sexual way? Nikki loved Bear?
Well, Freaky Nikki did.
Freaky, okay, so possessed Nikki. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I see. Yeah. Because I heard someone else talking about this, the love versus romance thing. Because when they were driving, she said she wanted a love story. And Bear's like, oh, so a romance? She goes, no, not a romance, a love. And like, what's the difference between love and romance? And he says, well, aren't those the same thing? And I kind of remember who told me this. Someone mentioned about that. Romance is fantastical. Romance is full of like grand gestures. Romance is like one of my favorite animes is Dragon Ball, and the opening to Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball series, is a song called "I'll Give You Romance." And Dragon Ball is not a show about like love and romance. There is love and romance in the show. You know, there's plenty of couples in there. Goku and Chi Chi get married. They have babies. Bulma and Vegeta, if I want to call that a love or whatever. But in the context where the song is saying "I'll give you romance," it's like I'll give you an adventure is what it actually means. And so romance is just it's cool, it's fascinating. But love, ask any married couple on Facebook. What do they always say? Love is work. Love is hard. Love is difficult. Love is a slog night and day. There's like love is like they say this in church all the time. Love isn't an emotion. Love is a dedication. Love is a decision. Love is like I love this person. I'm going to do whatever I can to make this relationship work. I'm going to do things I don't want to. I'm going to go out of my way to make this person happy. The romance is like the cherry on the sundae, but the love is the actual foundation. And I don't think Bear understood that, but Nikki in her sane state did. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love how when he said, "Aren't they the same thing?"
Mm-hmm.
And she just didn't say anything.
She didn't
And I
answer.
felt
She didn't
so-
even answer.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah.
I felt so that she was just like, "Oh, you don't get me at all." In that moment, it's like what I would have felt if I were her. It reminds me of like if you read Wuthering Heights, not the movie that just came out, which was I loved.
How was
It
that movie, by the way?
but
How was that? How was Wuthering Heights?
I loved Wuthering Heights, but it's not really anything like the book. I reread the book afterwards just to be sure because I was like,
Mhm.
that was way better of a movie than I remember the book being. And I remember at the end of the book just having an overwhelming
Hey.
urge to like slip my wrists or something. Ugh. And I read the book again and I'm like, yeah, that book. Woo, it's more like a hate novel. But that's how love
Hate
is.
novel.
Yeah, like love, passion. It's like it'll make you do crazy things, kind of like she did,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
he did as well. And you know,
Uh,
something somebody pointed out that I had not noticed. I just remember at the end there, after she put on Sarah's clothes and like copied her
oh,
tattoos
yeah. The
and all that
tattoos.
stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she had Sarah like arranged with no clothes on and all that. I remember thinking she looked kind of strange, and I couldn't exactly put together what it was. They said, I didn't notice this. Maybe you did. She scalped Nikki. She's wearing.
You told me
Nikki.
that. No, you told me that. That was you. You mentioned that the second time we watched the movie. You said, "Hey,
Oh,
did you
really?
notice that she had?" That was
Oh,
you.
I forgot that I
I
noticed
remember.
it.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, because I didn't notice that, and then
Oh.
you're like, "Did she scalp her?" I was like, "Oh wow, I didn't catch that." But yeah, that's
Ugh.
terrifying. Yeah, it's
Ugh.
just really, it's just
And she's like
kinda-
smoking the cigarette. Like
she's smoking the
frantically.
cigarette. Yeah, yeah. It's just- Do I look like Sarah now? Do you want to fuck me, please? It's like, yeah. And Mel says, wishing for love isn't a bad thing. Obsessing about finding it is where it goes south. Yeah, and that's another lesson that you learn in the movie is that one problem a lot of people have is that they will develop a crush or an attraction on somebody, and it goes south. Either the feelings aren't reciprocated, or maybe it just doesn't work out. And you kind of start to forget that there are literally billions of other people on the planet. And you're like, oh, okay, this crush didn't like me back. I don't know what I'm going to do. And you kind of become obsessed with that person, which is what happened to Bear. And obsession isn't good. And this is why this is a Red Pill TJ is going to appear for like 45 seconds.
Oh,
Okay, he
boy.
comes up every now and then. Listen, Red Pill TJ has a lot of great advice up there. Oh, actually, maybe give me 90 seconds of Red Pill TJ here, because all right, one other thing I'll say is, fellas, if you want to have a good time, take your lady to go see Wuthering Heights, okay, with Margot Robbie. It's not right on theaters anymore, but rent it or whatever and watch Wuthering Heights and do it now, thank me later. But okay, so one thing is you don't want to overdo it whenever you're attracted to someone. If you're going on a first date, don't bring her flowers. Okay, don't do that. Don't bring flowers on the first date. Now, I know the ladies will say something different. Don't listen to them. You want to catch a fish. Don't listen to a fish. Listen to a fisherman. Okay, you bring flowers on a first date. All right, they're gonna think, "Wow, what's up with the flowers? This is a bit much. We're not together. Like, I don't know you. There's a friend." You're committing way too much to it. And the last thing you want to come off as as someone who's desperate and needy. Because look, if a woman is obsessed over you as a man, it's generally not going to be like what happened in Obsession, okay? It's just like, all right, it's going to be uncomfortable. If a man is obsessed over a woman, that can go very, very badly for a woman. And so if she gets the feeling that you are obsessed with her, it's going to freak her the fuck out. And it should. And it should. This shouldn't be a red pill take, but it is. Because I'm telling guys, don't lay off too much interest early on because it's going to terrify her. And it will. So, stick with that advice right there. But, yeah, the Bears whole. Let's see, what did I write in a comment here that I wanted to get to because it's taking longer than I thought. That's what she said. Oh no. Actually, I did cover everything I wanted. Okay, but if you have any other notes on Obsession, then I don't mind.
I didn't write any down. I guess I should have. I think that was mostly everything.
All right,
the scalping thing, the possession thing.
Yeah, Bears. We didn't talk much about Ian. We talked about Sarah a lot, but Ian, do we think Ian was a good guy or a bad guy? Was Ian? I've heard different people say this because I always saw Ian as kind of like a neutral to good guy, but a lot of people saying that maybe he was using Nikki, maybe he was sabotaging Bear. I was like, oh, man, because he did say call her Freaky Nikki, and she hated that. And so I was like, oh, maybe he did try to sabotage Bear. I don't know, but they kind of kept that up in the air. I thought that was pretty good, but I liked when he wished for the $1 billion. And go ahead.
Yeah, Bear. The two outside friends.
Sarah and Ian.
Sarah and Ian. Yeah, I thought they were both interesting and really human, I guess, realistic, because nobody can be entirely altruistically your friend. They're always going to have some of their own self-interest, even if they really do care about you. And I thought that both Sarah and Ian were like that. I think Ian really was a good guy and really was trying to help Bear. I don't think he was trying to sabotage him, but he had been screwing Nikki, and so maybe he was upset that wasn't going to be an option anymore. Like, they didn't really clarify that. He thought Nikki was doing this just to make him jealous. Well, maybe she broke things off with him. Maybe Nikki broke things off with Ian, and he was hurt by that. Like, nobody actually knows how things ended between Ian and Nikki or why. And but it seemed to me like he really did want Bear to do well, just like Nikki. Yeah, just like Nikki, she didn't encourage Bear to go for Sarah, but she passed on Sarah's message. Even if she had, because I think Nikki might have had feelings for Bear, or almost had feelings for him, even though she said she didn't from the way she was acting. And I know in the interview she gave, she said she thought they could have had a chance if Bear would have just asked her out in a normal way, that Nikki and Bear maybe could have had a chance together. So I feel like all of them kind of were like, I really do care about this person, but also I care about me too. Because when Sarah was talking to Bear in the car right before she was brutally murdered, she's like, oh, well, I feel like Nikki's taking advantage of you. And Ian is like, oh, Bear, I feel like you're taking advantage of Nikki. Well, they both were right without being able to know about the wish thing. They both would have been right, in a way. But they also both had an ulterior motive at play. Because Sarah liked Bear and Ian liked Nikki. So
it's hard to say. I kind of like, because these things are messy. And also, we got a comment from Kyle a while ago. We were trying to figure out how to describe this love triangle, this love square that doesn't really connect. Kyle says it's called the love conga line. That's good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And Rachel Bella from TikTok, she's like, OMG, I caught you live. So lucky. That's right. That's right.
Wow, what a nice thing to say.
We got comments here. Babe, where my dinner at says this show is so much better without John. I'm gonna save this and send it to John.
Oh no, don't send that to John.
That is great. Okay.
This guy is
and
just
then
hangry. He doesn't know where his dinner is.
I know. I mean, but we all say some messed up stuff like that. All right. So the last few minutes here, we also watched the movie called. Oh wait, Hugh Jass joined in and says, "Just joined. Has anyone told you that Heather has a very bad echo?
But it's not my fault, Hugh Jass.
Like this is hard to listen to." And then he commented, "Oh wow, now it's fixed. Okay, so you're good. You're good, I guess. All right." So Hugh Jass is being Hugh Jass to Miss Heather with the echo, whatever. All right. So wrap up. We also watched another film. Well, two films for the first time. Well, Heather's first time. Kill Bill. What did you think about Kill Bill?
Oh, wow. I was stunned by that movie. I didn't expect to like the movie. I had heard people talk about, like, people have described the movie before to me, and I did not feel interested at all. And I was worried you were going to show me this movie, and your media recommendations are almost like kind of, they're a point of pride for you, I'd say, for good reason.
They are.
Like,
That's true. That's
excellent
true.
media recommendations. Yeah. And so I was a little concerned because you'd show me some other of that guy's films, and the violence, I just have a hard time with violence and gore. It's not, I don't enjoy, or like torture scenes. Like I don't enjoy brutality.
I was afraid. The story I knew you would love. The only question I had was the gore, because I don't like how much gore is in Quentin Tarantino films. I find it to be over the top. I think they'd be better without it. And I said, oh man, especially the first Kill Bill with the Crazy 88 fight scene and everything. Oh, that's a lot of gore. That's actually my least favorite part of the movie, by the way, when she's fighting the Crazy 88. But the rest of it, I thought you would be in on. And before we continue, Kyle says he loved Kill Bill. So there, we got something
Well,
there.
that's
Okay.
good.
And Rachel says, hey, we love John. It's not either or. We love her too. Okay. So all right. So you did enjoy Kill Bill. What was your favorite part? I know my favorite part. I think it's your favorite part too. But your favorite part of the film?
Oh, my favorite part?
Mine was Oren Ishii. Like her whole story, the cartoon of her being a little kid, and the final fight with her. My favorite parts of both films are that character.
Well, so full disclosure, I may have eaten a gummy before, and then the first movie was so good, I immediately had to watch the second movie immediately, and so I don't know.
It was like
if I can
11
say
o'clock
where
at night.
first-
It was like
and
11
really
o'clock at
late.
night. And Heather's like,
So I don't know if I
we gotta
can
finish
say
it.
this is the first one and this is the second one very clearly.
Okay, fair enough.
But my favorite part, I wasn't prepared for that question. Yeah,
Or some of your favorite parts then.
I
Not
might
your favorite-
agree
some of
with
your favorite things.
you because that cartoon part, that was running through my mind a lot today, actually, and just like this little girl hiding under the bed. I liked how they had her say the word whimper.
Yeah, that was great. And she catches
And
it.
it
and
sounded
pushes
like a
her in.
whimper. Yeah, that was how it was like. I'm trying to put into words. It's like there were several moments in the film where it felt like this should be silly or goofy or dumb, and or hokey, cheesy, something like that, kind of. And like that would be a moment like that where it's like you expect a person to whimper, you don't expect them to say whimper, but it was brilliant. I loved it. And there were a lot of moments like that, like the karate moves or whatever martial arts. I don't know. I probably am saying the wrong name of it, but it's probably not karate, but whatever it was she was learning from that guy with the white beard. Hai Mei, yeah. And she's all like doing these moves. They look almost like they should be silly. Like I almost wanted to laugh, but then I'm like, oh, but that's really fierce actually. Oh, fuck, did she just like take out that girl's eyeball? That was so badass. and so surprising that it it worked. Just this little like it almost like reminds me of like a bird moving around or
and
something.
they foreshadowed it because the Kung Fu master did the same thing to get her other eye. They kind of foreshadowed it earlier on because saying, how did you and Rachel or Ben says, I'm with Heather and TJ. I don't really like gore either. I didn't want to finish Kill Bill. I
wonder if they finished it.
Oh, they did. Those are just 2 movies. Oh, Ben? Oh, I'm sure he finished it. I'm sure. But yeah, there's a lot of great parts. Opening up with her fighting Vivica Fox's character, and they got to stop because her daughter arrives, and it shows that
really funny.
They sit down, they have coffee and everything. That was a great opening. And then, but man, like you said, pulling out that girl's eye. Buck. Oddly enough, of all the characters in the squad, Bud was easily the closest to actually killing her. Like, he's the only one that did like any real damage there when he shot her with the rock salt and buried her underground.
Oh yeah, and that was also unexpected because he seemed to be the dumbest.
Yeah, and he was easily the most successful. Easily the most successful of everyone in the group. Like, she should have died. I mean, honestly, like she should have. She was buried underground, shot in the chest, but she's magic or whatever, and so.
I know. All that. I said in the movie, whenever she got that knife in her hand when she was in the casket and she acted all excited and happy, I was like, oh, she's really happy because now she can kill herself and end the suffering. I did not think funny. She was actually going to try to escape. So and I'm like, oh no, she's going to try and keep going. What?
I laughed so hard when that happened.
Thank God.
She thought she was going to off herself with the blade. Like, yep. I mean, that would be the move, honestly, if you were actually buried underground. Like, oh, thank God, I can end this in seconds.
Do it while you still have the strength.
Yes, that was hilarious. Oh, you're right, Ben didn't. Ben said, I have no plan or want to finish Kill Bill. Too much gore. Okay, I mean, hey, that's
I didn't make it through all of Clockwork Orange because of that.
Or Reservoir Dogs.
So far. But Kill Bill, the violence was, well, this was true of Clockwork Orange too, I guess. It's like you kind of have to have it. Like you said, it's not gratuitous, it's integral to the story. It's really important.
Right. The violence seems well deserved in Kill Bill. It's like you really didn't see a lot of like excessive gore to people who didn't have it coming. That's kind of how I felt watching. Like, I wanted her to kick as many asses as she could. So yeah, but the thing with
I love the depth of the female characters, like how well-rounded they were, and they weren't just, like I said to you during the film, they weren't just one thing. It's like, oh, this kind of woman who looks like this, she's a mother, she's nurturing and kind and sweet, and this kind of woman who looks like this, she's tough and badass, and you don't mess with her. And you know what I mean? It's like these are the types. But if you're a man, you can be tough, and you can also be a good father or whatever. And in this film, there was none of that. It's like this woman is fierce, and she's also a wonderful mother, or a really good partner romantically, or she's got a good head for business. Or so I loved seeing that. Females, you don't get to see enough of a full spectrum femininity portrayed in media. So I loved that.
And we were talking about the anime they did for the origin of Oren Ishii. The balls it took to make that film and say, you know what? We're going to do an origin story of this little girl, of her parents getting killed, but it's going to be a cartoon. It's out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, it's like, oh, it's a cartoon now. Here we go. We're just going to roll with that.
But it was great.
It fits so well, and it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's my second favorite. My first is the clip. Actually, the clip that I showed you when I introduced you to Kill Bill a while ago was when they're fighting in the snow. That's my favorite part of both
very
movies.
Beautiful.
The fight in the snow it's just gorgeous. It's good to watch. And then Ben says there already was a Kill Bill in my life. Bill killed Bill. I miss my dad. I have no idea what. I don't know. I don't know if that's real. I hope.
Oh no.
Dad isn't dead. Yeah, I know. I want to make
That's
a joke,
okay.
but I don't want to.
That's okay.
Yeah, but all right, it's 7:05. We actually ran a little bit late. Thank you for replacing John, Miss Heather, and according to Rachel, at least, doing a better job than John ever did. You're taking his own show from him. This is great. We're gonna start the left wing pod's gonna
As long as
explode
we
now
don't
all
talk
over the place.
about politics, I will be okay.
Any
Otherwise,
last thoughts for
everybody's
the
going to
good
be
folks?
begging for John back.
Any last thoughts for the good folks before we close out here?
Oh, from me?
Yeah.
Have a happy 250th 4th of July, everybody. Enjoy your lobster and sirloin steak, since I guess
very good
that's what
callback.
everybody will be enjoying
Very good
this
callback.
Saturday.
Enjoy it. And Ben says that was real, unfortunately. Well, sorry to hear that, Ben.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wow.
But everyone, enjoy your 4th of July. Enjoy your. Ben says, I hope I get a pizza. You deserve it, my man. You deserve it. Long-time listener.
Yes.
Long-time listener, Ben. All right. We'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.